Good morning. Welcome to Kilrea in Northern Ireland, which is the home of Hutchinson Engineering. Today we're going to be talking to the team at Hutchinson Engineering about their lean and Kaizen journey and how they've implemented it on the shop floor and how they're seeing good results come from the implementation and how they're going to hold them gains for the future. So we're going to go and meet the team now, so let's go. Good morning, Mark. Nice to see you again. So Mark, could you give us a quick brief overview of the business and some of the processes within the business?
So the business predominantly is a service provider. We listen to our customers, we react to their ever-changing needs. We start off with design for manufacture, so we'll receive a drawing typically from a customer, we'll have a look at it, we'll make suggestions on how to improve it. The next process would be laser cutting, followed by folding, then on to fabrication and finishing. So we provide the complete service from design for manufacture right through to delivery.
Excellent. And from that then, Mark, what were your key metrics? What do you measure on a day-to-day basis to make sure the company's going in the right direction?
So for us, the business is run on a number of KPIs. So we have ones, for example, output per head, overall equipment effectiveness, and on-time delivery. And those would be the key metrics for us.
Excellent. And is that what's setting your strategy, Mark, going forward? Are they the measures then link up to the strategy that you're actually looking at within your Hoshin?
Yeah, all those KPIs link up to our high level strategy for the business. So we have a vision in the next 5 years to grow the business significantly, and they all tie in. So all levels of the business will work towards those KPIs. Okay,
brilliant. And how does Lean and Kaizen fit into that, Mark, on a day-to-day basis? How do you use them tools to get the best out of actually getting towards that strategy?
So for us, we're an innovative company, so we always have to be improving. Continuous improvement is a key element of our business. We've built it into the culture of our business over the last 4 to 5 years, supported by the Kaizen Institute. So for practical things like Gemba walks, SMED events, and also value stream mapping, we've used those right throughout the business, from director level to senior management level, business unit leaders, and down to the shop floor. And we've found the combination of all of those through that period of time has really helped develop our business.
Wonderful. Okay, so just first question is, how did you start the improvement journey? What motivated you to start the change?
Well, I suppose here at Hutchinson Engineering, we're a very innovative company. We've got a really great culture and also, a real can-do attitude of our team. So that's a real good starting platform. But I suppose over the last few years, we've seen significant growth in terms of our sales and indeed our headcount. That in turn has forced us to really look at continuous improvement to try and make sure we support that growth.
Okay, brilliant. And how did you get started? What were the first steps that you actually took?
I suppose, I've been an advocate of Kaizen for many years, over 20 years myself personally. So here at Hutchinson Engineering, we realised there was a gap regarding the continuous improvement, and that's why we reached out to the Kaizen to help support that gap. So initially we looked at our leadership and daily Kaizen for frontline managers. So that program was really good. It was very successful, really good feedback from our team. That then enabled us to look at a more tailored program. So the Kaizen were able to pull together a tailored program for us, really looking at starting from lean fundamental or Kaizen fundamentals, moving through to some other aspects such as product flow optimization, SMED, OEE, and then more recently we've done value stream mapping and Hoshin matrix for our strategy deployment.
Brilliant stuff. Robert, when you started on this journey of continuous improvement in Hutchinson, you started to take certain tools and techniques and started to spread them across the factories. What sort of things are you actually implementing within the actual business?
Yeah, so like using the Kaizen philosophy, learning by doing, we've sort of broke the activities right across the factory into small, simple tasks, I suppose. And when you're getting the team broke down into small, simple tasks, you're sort of seeing the small benefits and small improvements can make without the factory. Some of the main activities would be the Gemba walk and basically the waste walks. So basically identifying what is value added and non-value added, and writing down specifically what is non-value added tasks and trying to remove them from the process essentially. Some of the main factors then we've been working on the last number of years is raw material nesting, cutting their cost down and the material costs. SMED events within fabrication to reduce changeovers, the reduction of WIP without the process, so trying to get the just on time product throughout the factory. and then using the value stream map process to create our Hutchinson and where we want to get to in the next few years, I suppose.
Okay, great stuff. And I noticed within the mission control room, that you've got it all set up to sort of develop it around as it will go actually within the structure of the business, from your Hoshin through to your KPIs, which are normally your customer KPIs, through to the rest. Could you just take us through the start point of what you actually did?
Yeah, so I suppose where we started at towards the end of 2021, we started using the mapping out the current state map, so doing a gamble walk right through the factory and listing the waste around each process, then sort of blue sky thinking, I suppose, outside the box, what we wanted to see the company be processed like in about 3 to 5 years time, and then tying that in with the Hutchinson X matrix as well. And I suppose most of our KPIs are always based around people, speed, customer cost. It's one of our main objectives, to grow the business. It has to be in them 4 KPI areas to manage.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks. So Robert, we've talked around the Hoshin and we've talked about the KPIs. Could you explain how then you've implemented this on the shop floor? What have been the types of, what's been the methodology for making sure that these actual improvements stick?
Yeah, so here at Hutchinson's we break these continuous improvement projects into 3 different levels. So we'll have our level 1, which is very quick, simple wins, just do it, I suppose. So there's ideas generated from the shop floor. They have access in all their PCs. So they'll type in their name and their idea essentially of what they think they can make their process easier to do and remove waste and such. Then as a team, I have a business improvement team that will sort of work around them tasks to make sure that them tasks get completed within about 1 or 2 days, so just do it. It's a very quick, simple task to get completed.
Great.
Then we've got level 2, which is a wee bit of our practical problem solving project. So maybe if we look at a KPI and it's underperforming in certain areas, I suppose, we'd maybe bring out level 2 tasks. Only project maybe go for about 4 to 6 weeks, I suppose. Really defined projects, not really a massive one, which I want to get into, I suppose. And then our third, which is the highest levels, are future state projects. So these would typically last between 3 and 12 months, I suppose. So these are the ones that are going to be a massive change to the factory in terms of different layouts and different product we're processing yearly throughout the factory.
Okay, brilliant. And when you've been rolling these projects out, what sort of challenges have you met along the way?
One of the main things is obviously making sure you have the resource available to do so. It's important when you're in a very production environment. It's important to make sure you're still delivering the product, but you have the resource available to step in and make them changes to, in future terms, make it as flow as fast as possible. One of our main challenges has been getting the team up to sort of the training aspect of it, engaging all employees. So that's making sure they're getting up to date with the improvements we're making and communicated, in our weekly or daily meetings. So it's important you bring the team along with these improvements, as they're the guys that are actually going to be doing the tasks on the shop floor.
And do you feel then, as you've gone through that process and you've come up against some of these obstacles, that actually Hutchinson Engineering has moved on and the team are becoming more involved?
Absolutely, so as I say, we probably started this process about 4 or 5 years ago. From our shop floor, in terms of all the projects, the shop floor is totally unrecognisable, I suppose, in terms of the whole factory layout. It's completely changed. We've got business unit leaders all sort of did Kaizen events now in their own areas, and they're taking on these projects themselves as leaders, I suppose.
So on the back of that then, Jason, what do you see what were your results like? What have you actually seen? What's the actual outputs of everything that you've done been from that?
Yeah, well, we've seen fantastic results, Wayne. To name but a few, I suppose, our fabrication department, we're seeing a 40% reduction in our changeovers through SMED activities. Our work in progress on the site is reduced by 60%, predominantly down to layout changes, product flow optimization. And that in turn has allowed us to take 2 forklifts out of our fleet, which in essence we're not transporting product as much, so our carbon footprint has got an improvement as well. And I suppose lastly, material utilisation, because we've removed a lot of waste out of the process, it allows us to really drive down our material utilisation, again, adding value to our customers.
Okay, brilliant. And if you were to look to the future, what's your next steps? What's your Kaizen vision, Jason? Where do you see Kaizen playing a part in your business going forward?
That's a good question, I suppose. Historically, Kite has been on the shop floor, I suppose. OEE have been really good here in the laser department, which we're at the moment, but we'd like to roll it out to other processes on the shop floor. but also looking at the support functions such as finance, commercial. I do feel Kaizen methodologies have a role to play in those other support functions. So that's something we'd like to look at. And I suppose my vision for Kaizen is really to align it to our strategy deployment and make sure Kaizen touches all aspects of the business to really ensure we're delivering for our customers.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jason. Thank you for joining us today in Kilray at Hutchinson Engineering, and thank you to the Hutchinson team for their hospitality and making us feel very, very welcome and showing some of their processes and their improvements as they've gone through the continuous improvement and Kaizen journey. We hope to see you very soon.